So it's the day after a massive North London derby win for Arsenal. And I want to talk about in this video how big of a result that actually is. Now, I'm still not over it, as you could probably tell by the tone of my voice. Losing back-to-back games 4-1 to your biggest rival in soul-destroying manner. It is really, really tough to take. But the show goes on. And the title race has still got a long way to go, even the relegation battle as well. Make sure you get over to the second channel at Henry Talks Tottenham and subscribe. But more importantly, subscribe to this channel. We are on the road to 100,000 subscribers. And as it stands, we are less than 60 from 89,000. So go down, hit this subscribe button and let me know your thoughts. Also, don't forget to leave a like. Now, the magnitude of that game yesterday, because Manchester City won against Newcastle United 2-1, and you saw the way the players were celebrating at the end of it, you could tell what it meant to all those Manchester City players. It was a big result. Guardiola was extremely happy. And it's almost like City were in the notion of, we can go and catch this Arsenal team. Massive pressure. Aston Villa dropped more points again. So now it really is a two-horse race. You're in a North London derby against a very unpredictable team. We are in a relegation battle, but we do have tendencies now and then to pull a result out of the bag, like drawing against Manchester City, beating City away, drawing against Manchester United. You know, we only narrowly lost to Chelsea and Liverpool on the scoreline perspective, but these results, it's not out of the realms of possibility that Tottenham, when everyone's doubting us, we can pick a result out. Now, I actually thought we would get a draw, and I couldn't have been further from the truth, could I? Arsenal go out there, they get a very, very big win. And two players I want to talk about, and we'll get to those in a couple of minutes, Eze and Gyokeres. But Arsenal had so much pressure on them to deliver and to get a result. And they didn't just do that. They battered us. Let's have it right. They absolutely destroyed us. Now, we can talk about the Kolo Muani goal another day. I've already spoken about that a lot. And I said, I do think it's a harsh call. I do think the goal should have stood. But even if that goal would have went in, I still believe we lose the game. Because Arsenal are light years clear of us. When you're bringing on players like Martin Odegaard and you're bringing on players, you know, like a Noni Madueke and a Martinelli, when as it stands, all three of those players comfortably start for us, that just goes to show you how well Arsenal have done at building a squad. We have both spent practically the same amount of money, and I actually think in the last 5 years, we have spent more than them. And if you look at where they are and you look at where we are, they're where they are in the league for a reason, and we are where we are in the league for a reason. They go out there, North London derby, you know, brilliant throw from THFC flags, tried to make it a hostile atmosphere, and they settled very, very early on. The first couple of minutes, they should have had a goal. And then, of course, Eze, you know, he's got 6 goals this season. And 5 of those, 5-time, Booker T, 5-time, right? He scored 5 times against us. And it's just like, before he joined that lot, he was one of my favourite players in the Premier League. Everyone knew my thoughts on him. But there's a couple of narratives I want to destroy in this video. And we'll get to those in a couple of minutes. Eze and Gyokeres. Don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button while you're here. Gyokeres and Eze. Now, that for me was Gyokeres' best performance in an Arsenal shirt. Now, he is on 15 goals in all competitions this season. And there's a very good chance that Arsenal still probably have to play around 20 games, right? They've got a League Cup final to play. They've got 10 left in the league, so that's 11. They're going to have a minimum of 2 in the Champions League, but you'd imagine they'll get to the semis, so that's probably another 5 or 6, and a few more games in the FA Cup. Their squad right now is firing on all cylinders. But Gyokeres, this guy, you know, took both his goals really, really well. Had a shot in the first half where he come in off the left-hand side, tried to whip it towards the back post. He looks like now he's settling into the player that we all thought Arsenal were going to go out there and sign. He scored 2 goals against us. He got 2 goals against Sunderland. He got a goal against Leeds. He got a goal and an assist against Karat Almaty. He got a goal against Inter Milan. You know, he looks very, very good. Or, you know, not all of a sudden. He looks very, very good now. 15 goals in 36 games, you know, with a few assists in there as well. So if he can carry on this form, and you look at the fixtures they've got coming up with Chelsea, with Brighton, with Mansfield, with Everton, I think it's fair to say that as a bare minimum, Arsenal win their next 4, which would put them in a very, very strong position going into the cup final against Manchester City. You know, they are playing Chelsea, the Chelsea team that, you know, bottled it against Burnley and bottled it against Leeds, conceded a lot of late goals that, again, have picked up another red card. So there will be no Fofana available for the Arsenal game at the weekend for Chelsea. And then you look at Eberechi Eze, another player who was very, very good yesterday. He took both of his goals very, very well. He's now got 6 goals in the Premier League for Arsenal with 2 assists. And he's now got 7 goals and I think 4 assists in all competitions this season for Arsenal. And those 2 players look like they are, you know, comfortably head and shoulders above everyone else. And then you look at the squad depth, you know, bringing on Mosquera in the 57th minute, bringing on Gabriel Martinelli, Odegaard coming on and getting an assist, Noni Madueke, you know, Lewis Skelly, Ricardo Calafiori, Gabriel Jesus, Norgard, you know, Ben White, Havertz, Dalman, and Mikel Merino did all not feature because they weren't obviously chosen from the substitute bench or were out injured. And when you look at the stats, no one can really be at all surprised, can they? 20 shots, 7 shots on target, 6 big chances created with 3 big chances missed. And you look at where they are in the Premier League. Yes, Man City have got a game in hand, but there is no guarantee that game in hand they go and beat Man City. You know, Leeds United is going to be a very, very tough game for City at the weekend. Yes, they have won 3 on the bounce, and they do look very, very strong right now. But the team that, you know, attack is dead or whatever, that they got the most goals in the Champions League. They're tied for the most goals in the Premier League. I believe they've got the most goals or second highest in the FA Cup. And they're the only team, as well as City, that are still competing on all 4 fronts. And as it stands, they're 5 points clear. You look at Leeds United's recent form, they've only lost 1 of something like 8 games, which was against Arsenal. They drew against Leeds away. They drew against Chelsea. They beat Crystal Palace. They drew with Sunderland. They drew with Leeds and drew with Liverpool, drew with Man United, narrowly lost to Newcastle, beat Derby, beat Fulham, drew to Everton, battered by Arsenal, then got out there and beaten Forest. And then these 3, obviously, progressed into the next round of the FA Cup. But this game here on Saturday is going to be absolutely massive. And I actually believe Leeds United could get something this game. Now, between now and the end of the season, every single game for Arsenal and Man City is going to feel like a cup final. And we're at the point in the season where the title running does start now. And when you look at Arsenal's remaining fixtures now, I won't lie to you, I do think City have the easier games. Chelsea is not an easy game. Brighton away, again, is not an easy game. But the big game, it's going to come down to what happens on the last game, or the 18th of April. Now, if City win their remaining games, they will be champions. If when I look at the situation at hand with regards to Arsenal, I believe they win their next 4 games going into the cup final. I believe they beat Everton. I think they beat Mansfield. I think they beat Brighton. And I think they beat Chelsea. If they go out and win that cup final game against Manchester City, that will be a springboard for momentum. Getting one over Guardiola in a final of a major competition is going to be absolutely huge. It really, really is. Now, when I look at the situation at hand with regards to what Arsenal want to do and what they want to go and achieve, this Chelsea game is equally as big as the North London derby. Because again, Manchester City, when you look at their recent form on the left-hand side, That's 5 wins in a row. And the fact that this game will be taking place before Arsenal go and play Chelsea. So if Leeds United somehow get a draw with Manchester City and is a result that goes against them, right? And Man City are on 57 points, you know, with the same amount of games played, there'd be 4 points clear. Then if they go and beat Chelsea, they would be 7 points clear. Equally, City can close the gap, though. There is so much at stake now. And you look at City's run of games they've got to play, it is a straightforward run-in for them. You know, Leeds are in a relegation fight. Forest are in a relegation fight. Newcastle away in the cup. Then they play West Ham and Palace. After the Palace game, they then got the cup final, Chelsea away, Arsenal again, Burnley away, and Everton away. Like, after the Arsenal game, again, it's a very straightforward run, but it's not out of the realms of possibility for City to go on a run again where they drew to Brighton, drew to Sunderland, and drew to Chelsea. Let me know your thoughts down below. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you soon. I'm out.